Hey everybody, welcome to Love and Relo, the voice of the relocation industry. I am your host, Ben Cross, and I am here with my friend Elizabeth Soley, the managing director of Jacob Street Partners. Elizabeth, how are you doing today?
I'm awesome. So happy to be here with you.
I am so happy to have you here. This is really great. Where in the world are you right now as we speak?
So I am in Stamford, Connecticut.
Okay, all right. So right over the border from where I grew. I grew up in White Plains.
I know, and that was one of. I want to know how you made it to the Detroit area. I grew up in
Yeah.
Rye.
Yeah,
so
you're Rye. I mean, Rye Playland, right? I mean, that was the Coney Island of Westchester County.
Yeah, and I actually went to church at Ridgewood, or Ridgeway.
Ridgeway.
Yeah,
I went to church over there. Ridgeway's right where I grew up. I grew up at Ridgeway. I went to Ridgeway Elementary School.
No, wait, didn't like Captain Kangaroo or something be from that neighborhood?
You know what? I noticed the errant ping pong ball from time to time, but I didn't know. I never made the connection. I didn't know. Anybody? Nobody got that one? Okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. No, but yeah, Ridgeway. Funny story about Ridgeway Country Club. By the way, okay, hey, if you're tuning in right now, I know we're going crazy right now. It's super narrow right now. We're gonna go macro, global mobility, relocation. I promise. I swear to you. There's a lot of time. Hang in there. Hit that like button. Throw a heart out there to Stamford, Connecticut, to Elizabeth. Get active in the comments. I want to know who you are, where you are, what you're doing. Throw some comments, some questions. I love your questions. I got my own questions. They're probably not nearly as good as your questions. So go ahead and leave those for Elizabeth. I promise I'll make her answer anything. No, I'm just kidding, Elizabeth. I won't do that to you. I know Elizabeth is in the risk business, so I tend to be a very risk-prone individual, perhaps. Is that appropriate? If you're risk averse, what's the opposite of that? Risky? Yeah. I'm risky.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm like Tom Cruise in my underwear. Yeah. All right, let's do this.
Risky business.
Tim Quirk, hi, Ben and Elizabeth from sunny. Hashtag Western.
Hey, yesterday I did mine, Southern Connecticut, SOCT. So
you did.
I did that for Tim.
You know, we got inside jokes. This is getting good. It only took 12 months for this show to actually like hit its stride, and it's hitting its stride now. Dang it! All right, this is great stuff. So hashtag Western New York. Can somebody go on a cheap T-shirt website and make Timmy a hashtag WNY T-shirt and just send it to him? Tim, put your home address in the comments. It's fine. Jack Jampel, hi, Elizabeth and Ben. Jack, what's up, bro?
Can I do a shout out to Jack really quick?
No. Yes, you can. Of course you can. I love Jack.
There needs to be a huge congratulations for him. He won the Benevo's top 100 HR professionals in the globe.
Really?
For Relo yesterday.
Wow. So, that is something. Jack, how do you... I mean, I'm getting a little feedback right now. Oh, you got to plug it back in. Yeah, plug it back in the thing. Jack, how are you dealing with this success? I want to hear. I want to know in the comments. Just put it in there. Let us know. Don't let it go to your head now, Jack, okay? I don't need any more sass out of you. All right, Jack? Let's see. We got looking forward to this conversation. Cool, me too. Dick Scafford from beautiful South Jersey. Also sort of kind of in the neck of the woods there.
Yeah, so he would know where Westchester is. A lot of your global audience might not know that we're talking about one of the suburbs, the county outside New York City, when we were talking about Westchester.
Yes, Westchester is the county directly north of New York. Hashtag Western New York loves Southern Connecticut. I feel like you guys are two regional universities that might be playing women's basketball right now on ESPN4. This is great. Andrea Acasella, hey, Elizabeth and Ben from chilly Wilton, Connecticut, and Global Housing Expediters. What's up, Andrew?
Hey, Andy. Andy, we and I caught up yesterday and had a great conversation.
You know, Andy and I had a great conversation as well. Andy can talk. I can talk, and Andy can talk. You notice that? Andy can talk. Shout out to Andy and his daughter over at Dickinson University as well, or Dickinson College. Let me know, Andy. Stacy Huff, hi, Elizabeth. Looking forward to hearing more about you in this risk business.
Absolutely.
Risk business, yeah. Erica Burton, hello, Ben and Elizabeth. Speaking of risky, Erica, she needs a policy. Hello, Ben and Elizabeth. Erica from Chase, Ohio here. What up, E?
Oh, I bet it's cold there.
Yeah, it's all right. Love you, Erica. Sherry Wood, way to go, Jack. All right, yeah, way to go, Jack. Good job, Jack. Woohoo, Jack. All right. Congrats, Jack. Look at that. You know, it's like sharks out there. You feed a little Jack Chum to the sharks and they just go crazy. Zach, hello, Elizabeth and Ben from Amelia Island, Florida. Still rubbing it in, Zach. I see you.
Zach, I want to be where you are.
Where is Amelia Island, Zach? Throw it in there.
It's right near Jacksonville.
Oh, it is. Oh, it's north. Oh, that's right. Okay. Yes, that is a lovely area. Elena, hey, Elizabeth. Or is that he, Elizabeth? How do you do that?
I am so excited that Elena's on. Yesterday, when you were having your conversation with Thomas, I felt like I may not have had as in-depth a conversation with Elena regarding race and experiences and things like that, but she and I have had a couple conversations like that, and so she's just one of my favorite people in the industry.
Elena's great. If Elena feels like you need to have a conversation, then a conversation will be had. Elena reached out to me. That's how I got to know Elena. She reached out to me and oh man, I love you so much, Elena. Thank you so much for being in my life this year. It's been great. All right, so let's hop into it. Keep those comments coming. I want to know. Oh my gosh, look at this. Look at Andy's. Hey Elena, like old home week. How are you? Okay, you guys catch up in the DMs, okay? He throws me off, Andy. It throws me off. All right, hey, we got a bunch of people coming on LinkedIn. This is fabulous. Whole bunch of people joining. Hit that like button. Throw a little heart out there. Elizabeth, let's set the table for everybody real quick, okay? So we've kind of teased it a little bit, talking about Elizabeth's in the risk business. You know, what does that mean? You know, my mind goes in a million directions. But tell people, what does that actually mean? What do you do?
So I'm the founder and owner of Jacob Street Partners, and we were started to simplify insurance for the relocation industry. So we really only focus on mitigating risk for industries of mobility and that touch mobility. So like temporary housing, international household goods, international.
So that makes sense to me. When you say about international household goods, that makes a lot of sense to me because I know furniture breaks super easy. You know, movers always say it's not meant to be moved. It's meant to be purchased, assembled, and sit right there. And then here we drag it all over the globe. 20% of moves have a claim. That's a stat, give or take 1 point. That's a stat. Did you know 1 in 5 moves have a claim? But what do you do? Like, what are you doing like with insurance for corporate housing? Like that to me is not as intuitive.
Before we go into that, I'd just like to give my dad a shout out, who's not on the call, but my dad always said 3 moves equals 1 fire. And so
3 moves equals 1 fire. Is that like an old insurance saying or something like that?
I don't know, but he was a transferee, and so we moved around a lot, and so our belongings were moved around a lot, and so
3 moves equals 1. I'm thinking about it now, and I'm like, is that true? Like after you move 3 times, everything smells like crap. Like what does 3 moves equals fire mean?
Meaning all of your furniture is gone. Like all your furniture is total loss. It's been replaced.
You know, that's funny because me and my wife have moved 14 times, probably 11 times with furniture. And we're looking at moving again potentially. And we still have the first piece of furniture we ever bought together, which was a table we bought at some like bootleg warehouse on the side of the freeway in Dallas, you know. And we bought that and a futon there. The futon has not made it. But I do know who has it still. And the table we still have. So but it's beat up. It needs to go. So
but isn't that a good saying?
I love it.
Equals 1 fire.
I love it. We'll start using that in the moving business. Although we might change how many moves equals a fire. We might be like 10 moves equals a fire. It's an old saying, you know.
I actually told that to Bill Grable. I was working with Bill at Grable, and I told him that, and it took him a second, and then he just started laughing.
Now, is this back when he owned the van line or after he divested from the van line? Because I'm sure his take on that changed.
This was about 15 years ago.
Okay. So he was still trucking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. Janet's got a question here. If we got any questions about moving insurance, throw them in there. I see Quigley checking in. This is great. Look at Jan. Jan, so nice of you.
Oh my goodness, that's my sister.
Oh, so she's really this is half about her, really. Is what the next comment's gonna be just like me.
That's so awesome that you're on.
Isn't
Thank
that
you.
nice?
That's really, really sweet. She lives in northern Minnesota and actually was in Alaska for 25 years.
Northern
So,
Minnesota. Okay, nice.
so now she's
Ala-
outside, but yeah, so she was in northern Alaska for a long time.
Northern Alaska. Okay. Wow.
She likes it cold.
I was gonna say, what's colder, Jan? Northern Alaska or northern Minnesota? But I think I know. I didn't know it was northern Alaska. Yeah, Jan, let us know, Jan. What's up? Is she like a professional ice fisher? Like, what's her deal?
So she married a man who likes to hunt.
Like just grizzlies. Like all he does is hunt grizzlies, like strictly Kodiak.
And then they had 7 kids, and yeah.
So they had like a village.
So so he was the school principal for a community, and I think that Jan, you're going to have to correct me on all of this, but I think that like it was like the size of Rhode Island that all the people were coming to that school. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Jan. Look, we need more details, Jan, because I mean, and then look, another Jan coming in here, Janet Turner. I'm one of 7 kids. That's a lot, Janet.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot, Janet. Explains how she looks after me so well. Janet has a question though. Let's get to the question. So if you have questions, leave them in there. We got a lot to talk about, but I'd love to hear your questions here. So Janet says, does Elizabeth cover full replacement insurance coverage only on international or only on international?
So we do only international transit moves, and our international transit insurance is a little different. It has the possibility of being a 12-month transit policy, which means it turns into a renter's insurance policy upon arriving at the destination, and is a travel insurance policy covering their belongings while they're traveling to the destination.
I'm sorry. Maybe I was distracted, but you're saying this policy covers stuff in transit and then still covers it once it gets there?
And if there's another move that happens in that 12-month period, boom, you don't have to pay for it because it's a 12-month policy. So it's all paid for.
So it's like your couch is covered no matter where it is all the time.
And forever. Well, for that 12-month policy period.
Hey, let's face it, as long as they're paying the premiums, right? It's covered. As long as the check cashes, the couch is covered, okay?
Right. But so, if you, were wearing a watch and, lost it as you were on your way moving from Rye, New York to, Paris, France. And that would be covered under the transit policy if it was on your itemized list.
Okay. So if it's on the list, it's covered. Okay. Awesome. Janet makes a comment here. Elizabeth and her family obviously not moved with DN Van Lines Moving and Storage. She puts the full company name. Why don't you put the website while you're at it, Janet? Maybe the 800 number, perhaps. So Janet, big shout out to Janet. Just gonna take a moment here, okay? Big shout out to Janet. The announcement came out today. Janet has officially joined DN Van Lines Moving and Storage. She's their director of corporate relocation. I know, I'm sorry, Elizabeth. I know this is supposed to be about you, but real quick, shout out to my girl Janet. Love you so much. I'm so happy for you. Good job, Odette. Way to pull the trigger on that. Way to wife it down. Way to put a ring on it. Okay. So now this is great. Janet's got a new home, and so excited about that. So check Janet out, send her a move. And speaking of movers with keen eyes, Michael Quigley, you too look beautiful, Ben. Hey. Sweet Quigs. Now Quigley's unofficial name is Tequila, so it's debatable. Right. How I really look. Jack says, "Hey Elizabeth, we got another question. Hey Elizabeth, didn't you adopt a dog at one of the ERCs? What is this about? People usually leave with a teddy bear. You came back with a dog?"
Yeah. So actually, this would have been the 4-year anniversary. So it was at ERC, in DC. The last time it was in DC.
The Wardman Park. Mm-hmm.
And one of the pet relocation companies brought rescue dogs. And we're huge dog people. We don't have children, and so we now have 3 dogs. But one of our dogs 4 years ago had cancer, and we were really sad about it. And I just was the first one in the door, and I saw this little poodle-y thing, and I fell in love. My husband works in the industry, so I brought the dog up to my husband, and I'm like,
I was gonna say, was he at the conference? Was he like two booths over, and you're like, hey,
no, he's
check
at the
out this
bar.
dog? Oh, he's at the bar. Exactly. So he had a few
That's where all our
cocktails.
meetings are.
He had a few cocktails. You were swept off your feet. You might have had a mimosa or two. Who knows? These are how decisions happen. And then you guys said, you know what? What was his? Okay, we're gonna stay on this for a second because I'm just picturing this right now. This is definitely something my wife would do. So you went up to him like, "Hey, isn't this dog super adorable? Wouldn't this look, great in our family?" Like, how'd that go?
Oh no, I'm in sales. I always go for the assumptive close. So I already sent him a picture of me with the dog saying, "Meet the newest member of our family."
Oh.
And so he hadn't responded. So I was getting nervous. So I asked these people, "Hey, can I walk him upstairs?" And they're like, "Absolutely. We want to get this guy a home." And so I brought Chance up, and he interrupted his meeting, and he just fell in love with this dog, and went and introduced it to everybody, basically all our friends in the industry, met Chance. And so it was adorable.
Oh, that's awesome. That's fantastic.
He rode on my lap the whole way home from DC to Southern Connecticut.
Oh my gosh, that's tremendous. Haysha's asking, I fell in love with one of those dogs and was told it was already spoken for. Did you get the dog I wanted?
Well, so Paul also had tried to get the two other dogs adopted as well. And so Duke Wisner took one of them. Duke Wisner's an industry regular, and then there was one that didn't find a home. So might have been one of those two. Sorry, Haysha, you got to get there first.
Yeah, the early bird gets the dog, Haysha. Don't you know that? Anka, I hear millennials don't really buy real furniture. Wow, shots fired. First half of the show. I didn't usually get this serious so early. Anka says, I hear millennials don't really buy real furniture. None of my stuff is made to be moved. Is there a generational gap in policies that you have noticed? Does it depend on the region from where they are moving at all?
Is that for you or for me?
I'm giving it to you.
Oh, I would give it to you. I'm generous.
Hot potato. Okay, I'll comment on this as a millennial that owns both real furniture and not real furniture. Another piece I have is an IKEA bookshelf, one of those like cube ones, like it's like 4x4 or whatever, and it sways like this. I think I'm unplugged again, and it like sways like this when it moves. So then you gotta shrink it and like do whatever. And if it's full of books, it'll stand still, but otherwise it won't. And then I have really nice furniture. I got the big, nice, dining room table. So, I think it's a combination, Anka. I mean, I do think that millennials are more prone to buy more cheaply made furniture that's designed to be shipped via the mail. I mean, look at Wayfair. Wayfair's crushing it right now, right? Is that real furniture or not? I don't know. But I mean, I do think furniture is being manufactured to be shipped instead of manufactured and then sold in the place where it was manufactured. I mean, I do think that's a trend. And since furniture is usually, kind of gifted in families and stuff, I think people that have, furniture that's been passed down, it's obviously, that real furniture, that Amish piece, that oak piece, that whatever piece. So, I mean, but IKEA, is like the one that's always being used, right? It's like, oh, IKEA furniture, but yeah, IKEA furniture can be moved too. Do you have do you have riders or waivers on pieces like particle board or anything like that?
No, I mean, no, we insure it at its value, whether, if they fill out, a valued inventory sheet, it's at whatever the relocation management company picks, the price per pound, if they don't fill that out. And then if they, we ask them to itemize or provide as much detail as possible. And so, I mean, we had someone move from Brazil to the US and that their sofa was damaged. And they felt that there was no sofa in the US that compared. And so we ended up having to ship a sofa from Brazil.
Oh, wow.
I never got pictures of it, but
it must have been amazing.
Yeah, so
Truly.
we're pretty flexible with that.
That's awesome. Jack's got a comment here. Love it. Look at, see, Jack, Jack wins an award and all of a sudden he's getting super saucy in the comments here. Jack says, we have great difficulty in trying to explain to an employee that an item that is broken is not fully covered. Relocating employee expectations are different than COD who know the type of insurance they're buying. Employees expect replacement. Is this an issue for insurance industry? Great question. Great comment, Jack.
We're incredibly flexible and generous. Jack, we insure your international shipments. So, and I think you do the shipments, don't you, Ben? Some of them?
No, I do zero. Actually, no, thank you for the question. Actually, I do absolutely zero shipments for Jack Jampel. Never have,
okay.
Never
Sorry.
will.
I thought you referred. So I
say that with love, by the way. It's all good. It's a running joke with me and Jack. But go ahead. Yes, I'm sorry, Elizabeth. Yes.
I think we're pretty generous with the claims, and so we, either show pictures. If it was a Wayfair item, here's what it is to replace, and then we give them the money to replace it. Or if it needs to be repaired, we really take the guidance from what the transferee wants to do, whether they want to just buy something new, or if they want to have it fixed, or what their goal is.
Yeah, and I think what that sounds awesome. I think what Jack is responding to is a lot of times the liability is capped at $5 a pound, $6 a pound. Some people do $8 a pound, which is kind of a lot, I think. And if you have a, let's use a laptop. I'm looking at a laptop. If you have a laptop and it weighs, you tell me, Elizabeth, but if I'm wrong, but this is the way I've seen it applied. Laptop weighs 10 pounds, that's $50. Well, a laptop's $1,000. So
right. No.
How do you reconcile that?
No, we pay full replacement cost for it. And and so we really highly recommend that someone writes down on the valued inventory. We have that. And I think international shipments have a little bit higher price per pound than what you're referring to. We don't really do domestic shipments. So with the air and sea shipments.
Okay. Let's see here. We got some great comments coming in here as well. Keep those comments and questions coming. Again, I got a bunch of questions, but yours are always more fun. Steve Miser, if you're a real stick man, you can move anything damage free. What's up? Shout out driver, aka bed buggers, stickmen.
So wait, how did he get the nickname bed buggers? Because we have bed bug insurance.
This is great. I know, because bed bugger. Who wants to be a bed bugger, right? It's like a pack rat. Anyway, no, but bed buggers. They're called bed buggers. Steve, weigh in here, but they're called bed buggers because I don't know. Like maybe they sleep in like cheap hotels. I don't know. Steve, how'd you guys become bed buggers? Tell me that story. Is it because of moving mattresses all the time? And Steve doesn't have bed bugs. I'm just saying, like, it's a thing.
Okay.
But you have bed bug insurance, though, you're saying, too?
That's part of our corporate housing, temporary housing insurance. And so you had started off asking me, like, how does insurance play into that?
Yeah.
So essentially, you are as fraught or more likely to have an accident being in temporary lodging than you would be in your home where you have renter's insurance or renters or homeowners insurance. And so we created an international program that's available in 180 countries on a daily basis, so that you can have liability in case you accidentally have a fire. It has accidental damage for you leave the faucet running and you go to work. And yes, this happens. Or the dog does damage.
Now you have me thinking about my faucet right now. I'm like, did I leave my faucet? No. Did I?
Or the small kitchen fire, or there's tons of accidental damage. And then there's also personal belongings, and lost and stolen bicycles are one of the number one personal belongings claims that we have in temporary housing. And then there's bed bug remediation, and unfortunately, bed bugs really do happen.
Now, wouldn't the corporate housing company remediate the bed bug situation? Like,
so there's been a lot of stories and incidents that we've been told about and why companies want to have this coverage, because there's finger pointing, you know, yeah, you know, hey, you brought the bed bugs in, you know, no, I did, no, the property management company, we've seen them, you know, even come in through the heat ducts. So they want to lay blame and have it somewhere. And so we pay for the remediation. So doesn't matter who brought it in or how it happened, just, you know, get, you know, whether you do heat treatments or chemicals or,
I think that's the best. I think that's one of the best, in my opinion, the best things about what you do is if you have insurance, there is no finger pointing because it's covered. So
right.
It doesn't matter whose fault it is, it's just taken care of.
Right.
And I think that's one of the coolest things. Otherwise, you're right. I mean, service providers point this way, property management company points this way, corporate says, I don't care. Yeah. Relocation says, I know it wasn't my fault because I wasn't on premises. So, you know, corporate's like, you guys figure it out what's the problem. And then the RMC starts, you know, banging heads. And it's like, yeah, it's a problem.
And that's the whole, you know, thing that is important, is to have a risk management strategy. And I think that people are talking, when they're talking about risk management strategies, they're really talking about crisis management. So they're talking about, how do I deal with the pandemic? And they're calling that a risk management.
Okay, you got to take that. That's cool.
That's okay.
I mean, you know, it's cool. Patch them in. We got some questions here as well. I'm hearing myself right now. I don't know why I'm hearing myself. I don't know if your jack came unplugged or not. I don't know. Janet Turner says, does Elizabeth's bedbug partners use dogs? Are these like, this is in quotation, dogs? Is it not a real dog? Is it code for dogs?
It's beagles. That are, and we have 2 beagles actually. That is our breed of choice in the Soley household. But we don't care. We just pay for the remediation. So I don't really get involved in what is done. Yes, sometimes the temporary housing company chooses to bring in beagles or whatever dogs that they have trained. You know, but so however they want to deal with the situation, generally they bring in an expert to determine that it really is bed bugs.
Expert beagle. Andy says, good point on bed bugs. This is an experience that requires immediate mitigation and continued employee productivity at a very stressful time. Seriously.
Yeah, and we cover housing them, the transferee, for a night while the remediation is occurring. We also cover having their belongings dry cleaned.
Okay. Oh wow, dry cleaning too. Interesting. Yeah. Gosh, you know how much dry cleaning I've paid for over the years? As soon as you know what it is, a wardrobe bar falls on a box. So you got a wardrobe box, right? It's got the hanging bar, so you hang all the suits and the gowns and the whatever. And then that bar, for some reason, has a tendency to just slip off. And then all the clothes get down to the bottom. It's all rumpled. Of course, the transferee is not unpacking that box until the day before, Sunday night. They're unpacking it. All their suits and whatever is all rumpled in the bottom. They're raising holy hell with their RMC. The RMC calls me, my transferee can't go to work in the morning because they don't have anything to wear because they didn't unpack their box until the day before they're supposed to go to work. And then I have to come in and start, door dashing. Dry cleaning over here, another day in the life. Andrew Ecasello here. I got questions here. We're also going to do a top 5 things, which is a new segment we're trying out over here. So, watch us fail publicly. It's going to be amazing.
I would kind of disagree with you, Andy. I think setting the expectations is great, but I also think it's important to have a plan in place. So you know what's going to happen and what you're going to do, and you have an insurance program in place so that, when something goes wrong, even if it's not covered, it shows this is our process, this is our plan. We had a situation where a VIP was staying in corporate housing and he got drunk with his buddy, and he had a basketball, and it was the holidays, and they were drunk and belligerent in the lobby of this apartment community. And there were cameras, and they destroyed the menorah, the Christmas tree, the whole thing. The police got involved.
They destroyed the menorah? That's like a hate crime. I feel like you go to jail for that. Okay, anyway, continue.
So the temp housing company got a call from the relo company going, take care of this. And they're like, Okay, so they contacted us and we're like, well, it's not accidental, it's intentional. And this is a criminal event. But they were able to submit the claim. We were able to be the bad guys and write why this wasn't covered. And if they had accidentally done damage, that it would have been covered. And the temp housing company was really able to save face and was able to come up and show that they had a plan in place when something happens, and that if it had been something other than, a drunk, belligerent guy coming home in the middle of the night, that it might have been covered.
Do they have to be drunk and belligerent to not be covered? Okay. All right, I just want to know what my coverage terms are. Okay, this is great. We got some great comments coming in. I promise we got a lot of things to go over here. We just got some great comments. I'm having a lot of fun talking to you right now, Elizabeth. Hey, if you're out there right now, hit that like button. Throw a little what size my heart on? Throw a little heart out there to Elizabeth and so
I feel like I'm on American Idol.
Yeah, like the believers out there. Yeah, throw a little heart out there to Elizabeth. We got Steve Miser coming in here telling us why they're called bed buggers. So we're bed buggers because, like you said, because we haul used mattresses. I mean,
I'm sorry, Steve.
He says in the trucking industry, we give each other names on the CB. This is going to be good. So, someone's talking to you, i.e. tanker yanker, skateboard, parking lot, tanker yanker. I love that. This is just tremendous. Look at this. Michael Cadden, hi, sis.
Hey, so good to hear from you, Michael.
Yeah, and it's fun here. Jack's got another comment here, another question. Jack, you gonna buy something or what, Jack? Would you say that you are truly unique in the insurance business and pay without question? Since more often experiences we hear about our insurance companies providing excuses of not to pay the full amount. Oh, this is great. And I think you said you actually insure Jack's shipments, so this should be a very interesting answer. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Jack, we do our best. And when it's a gray area, we go back to Lloyd's of London and try to make the best case possible. There are things that aren't covered, as you were talking about wrinkled clothes. We had someone file a claim for that the mover had wrinkled their clothes and that they wanted to file a claim. And we said, that's not covered under the policy. Jack, we really do our best to pay claims, and we're pretty generous and we try really hard to work with it. I feel free to let me know if there's a problem.
I hear you. Jack, sometimes Jack just asks questions because he likes to see us squirm. So thanks for indulging Jack there. Hey, so we got a little thing I want to call top 5 things. It's a little segment thing that we're playing with here. So Janet, I want to see if we got this. Oh, we do. Look at this. Janet's on it. Bam, bam, bam. Top 5 things. Cue the music. No, I'm just kidding. There's no music, guys. So top 5 things. Yeah. All right. Anyway, number 1. All insurance is the same. You get what you pay for. Elizabeth, is this true? Not true? What do you think?
All insurance is not the same. And
I'll be honest, I'm guilty of this with like my homeowner's policy and like my auto policy. Like I am guilty of like, hey, just what's the cheapest? Like what do we need to be looking for here?
Well, full replacement cost is incredibly important to make sure that you're getting that. Instead of actual cash value. Also having mysterious disappearance included. And that's something that's included in our policies.
Can I go back? Can I go back to the first thing you said? You said actual replacement cost, or you said, what did you say? Replacement cost versus actual cash value?
Mm-hmm.
What is the difference in those two things? Which is more expensive or more likely to be expensive?
So actual replacement cost is what's going to replace your 5-year-old TV with a brand new TV. Actual cash value is the value you would get taking that TV to a pawnbroker or
resale.
However you would be trying to sell a TV.
And replacement is more expensive typically?
It is because it would, it covers, the same thing. So
Yeah.
if your phone is 4 years old and it breaks, you're getting a new phone. You're not getting a 4-year-old phone.
Yeah. Got that. So I'm getting an iPhone 12 and not an iPhone 8, even
Right.
though my 8 was okay. Got it. Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. And then I'm sorry, you were saying the other thing before I interrupted you and threw you off the track there. What are some of the other things we should be looking for with our insurance?
So mysterious disappearance, and that is that is a technical term. So a lot of things when it comes to theft, and it was here and now it's not. And so if you had your bicycle stolen out of your garage and there aren't signs that there were crowbars, that somebody broke the door or broke the window.
Forced entry or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of policies aren't going to be covering that. So they'd say, sorry, there's no sign of a forced entry.
Is Tim Quirk covered? He had a mysterious, I call it a blackout, but he had a mysterious disappearance once. Is he, need more details? I understand.
Yeah.
Tim, file a claim. Okay. None of this hearsay. Fill out the claim form, send it in. We'll holler at it in 30 days. Okay. What's number 2, Janet?
You get back in 30 days. If somebody files.
I don't know. I just know fill out a claim form. I just read. No, we don't get back. We usually acknowledge the claim. Okay. This probably is a great segue into number 2. We acknowledge the receipt of claim within like 24 hours. We provide an update when we get an update, and then we always settle within 30 days. We like to settle in 14, but sometimes you got to send people out, do inspections, do repairs. Don't judge me, Elizabeth. Okay, don't judge my claim process. Okay,
I am not. I'm learning.
I'm learning the new judging. Okay, number 2, don't burn. I'm just kidding. I'm just giving you a hard time, Liz. Don't burn the bridge. Tell me your thoughts on this here. We may differ.
I feel like our industry is so small that there are times when you just want to do something or say something. We have a client right now who didn't pay us for 2020. We had to cancel their premium. They are hiring people right now. By the way, we paid claims, and we're still receiving emails from their clients asking, since the insurance was canceled, if we're going to be refunding them their money. And so that's an example of, I'm not burning that bridge. I'm not, I'm not going postal and.
But you cancel their premium. But we cancel their premium because this is where service providers get hit. You get in a pinch, right? Because it's like, I remember one time I was calling to collect money, and my CEO said, these guys are 120 or 150 days on, I think it was almost like $1 million or something, and they wanted me to call, right? And I reviewed my job description, and I found other duties as assigned. I was like, okay, fine, I'm going to make this phone call. And so I called them. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's not okay. I got it. Okay, so I make this phone call, and I call the CEO of their company, and I'm like, hey, thanks so much for the partnership, whatever. And he gives me the song and dance, whatever. And I go to my CFO. I'm like, yeah, he says, a good client, whatever. And my CFO says to me, clients pay their bills. And I was like, well, I can't exactly say that to him, but can you give me something a little softer that I can respond with? And so, it's a sticky wicket that we're in as service providers, because we're floating a lot of money a lot of times on behalf of our clients. We have as Bill Gray will say, a large handle. We got a lot of money in play here, and the whole we're not a bank, but oftentimes we're treated like one. So how do you manage to kind of balance that?
Right. And with insurance, what if they'd had a $300,000 claim? And so we'd be paying for that without any premium. That's really tough. I mean, this is one of the few times that this has happened where, and COVID is tough. COVID has hit our industry harder than most. I would say, particularly temp housing providers, household goods have at least had the COD business, and relocation companies have at least had domestic, home sale type movement. But our industry has been hit hard. And so I think there needs to be mutual respect. I don't mind if people, being 180 days late in paying, has happened plenty of times. That's in part why 2020 has been a pretty good year for us, because it took so long for people to pay us. So 2019 got paid in 2020.
So you're recognizing a lot of revenue in 2020 now. Yeah, no, that's funny.
So, that's kind of our industry. Nobody pays quickly, but not paying at all, that's where, you grin and bear it, and you don't burn that bridge.
All right, this is great. I don't know if I feel the same way about burning bridges. I think don't burn a bridge. This is often used. I definitely find applications for it, but sometimes I'm standing at that bridge. I'm looking at it. It's made of wood. I got my book of matches, and I'm just like, let's just one time, let's just burn this mother down, okay? So maybe I'm gonna listen to you on this. I'm just gonna back up, because today's been that kind of day. I've been a little surly today, so I'm gonna pause. I'm going to do my little meditation that Janice got me doing. I'm going to drink some tea. I'm going to chill out. We got some great comments coming in. We got some great questions. I'm going to get those right after we're done with our top 5 here. What's number 3, Janet? All right. You told me there's no such thing as a single point of contact. What do you mean by that, Elizabeth?
I think everyone in our industry wants there to be one person who talks to the transferee. Mm. And if you want the transferee to talk to the expert in each area, they can't just talk to one person. And absolutely, the conduit should be the consultant. Mm-hmm. The relocation consultant is home base. That's where everything should stem from. But the relocation consultant can't talk about insurance. They can't talk about household goods. They probably aren't an expert as a DSC, a destination service consultant, and of a local area expert, and can talk about schools or mortgages or all the different things. Tax. Oh my goodness, you don't want a destination service or a relocation counselor talking about tax or immigration.
Yeah, their expertise lies in, okay, what's your policy? What is the timing? How's it all going to dovetail together? How are your expenses going to be tracked and reimbursed? Yes, make it all fit, make it coordinated all. But you're right. I love what you said there. It's like you can either talk to one person or you can talk to an expert, or many experts, I guess would be the case, right? So what is this infatuation with single point of contact? And in fairness, I feel like it's waned a little bit. There's been some large shops that have converted over to not doing single point of contact. But what is this, what is this infatuation?
I think it's fatigue of talking to so many different people. And there are so many different points of contact, and people are asking for, for the same information over and over again. And they just want to not have to explain their story one more time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And by the way, technology could probably fix that too. If we truly had integrated systems, they wouldn't have to provide the same information, the same story over and over again. We'd all be singing from the same hymn book and have the same notes and access. Andy brings up a great point. I love this. I love the way he phrases, Andy. So right on the matter of single point of contact. What we need or what we should deliver is a single point of accountability while deferring to the SMEs, the subject matter experts in each discipline. I like that. Single point of accountability. That's what a relocation consultant should be.
Right. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Jack's got a point here too. Love Jack's comments. Jack is he's on fire today. You are correct. all caps. No possible one point of contact. What I think we are looking for is transferring of info across suppliers and not asking for the same information over and over again. Yeah, I mean, Jack, 100%, man. The information transfer and the fact that the transferee. I mean, I feel this way when I use one of those. Press 1 for this, press 2 for this, please enter the last 4 of your social. Into the last 4 of my social, the operator gets on. Please verify the last 4 of your social. I'm like, what I just put into the phone prompt for?
Exactly. No,
I totally get that.
That was to keep you entertained while you're on hold.
Exactly. That was to see if I would quit and go to the website. Yeah. If I ask him to do enough things, will he just hang up and go to the website? Maybe. Yeah, for sure. No, Jack, 100%. You're right. You're right. And I think that comes through technology. And that's something that we're not necessarily going to solve through a process or a policy change. That's going to come through integrated systems, which if we have time, I'm going to ask you about technology and insurance and see if that's even a thing. But let's pause here. Let's stay on track here. We're trying the segment thing. Number 4, Janet. Celebrate your successes. What do you mean by this?
So when I started Jacob Street, owning a business is the biggest roller coaster ride. There are so many ups and downs, even in a single day, and they just feel so high and so low. And so when something good happens, take that moment and go, let's enjoy this. We used to have a thing, we haven't been doing it lately, but whenever an new account was signed, there'd be a bottle of champagne. And the type of champagne varied based on the size of the account. Dom Perignon was for like big awards.
Yeah. Okay.
So it would go up.
I like it.
From American sparkling wine to French to maybe good French to maybe a rosé.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. And taking a moment. Now, I think so this would be for client signings and for awards. Were there other things like that would warrant a champagne toast? The reason I ask is because I find myself celebrating my successes too much, and I think that there needs to be some balance. So I'm looking for some parameters here from my risk friend over here.
So those are the two things that matter to me is A, the client, doing right by the client and being recognized and saying, you know what, you did something really well, and taking that moment to celebrate that, and then also, signing new accounts. I mean, there are plenty of other reasons to celebrate, but work-wise, within Jacob Street, those are the two.
Gotcha. All right. Number 5, Janet. Be nice and make friends.
This kind of goes back to don't burn bridges. So I love our industry. Our industry is so unique. When I talk to other people, and I'm like, oh yeah, so-and-so is totally like a brother for me. I know that, he and I may be in the same remote city at some conference, and he's going to make sure that no matter what, I get back to the hotel safely. And that he's got my back, and, or she. But there are so many people in this industry who have my back, who are there to look out for me, who have my best interest at heart, and are genuine good people. And
I agree.
And that's what I love, about our industry.
I agree. This industry is full of empathetic, curious people, wonderfully well-rounded people, well-traveled people, interesting people, people. Our clients are HR people who help move people. We obviously are very intimately involved in people's lives, as we move them all over the globe and help them and provide housing and move every stick of furniture they own and everything else. So,
right.
I think we're all people. So I think be nice and make friends. That makes a lot of sense. Now, I think if you do number 5 really well, every once in a while you could do number 2. You could burn a bridge from time to time if you're like replacing that, if you're constantly building bridges. I feel like, it's like, slash and burn. Like it's good forest management. Like I feel like you could burn a bridge from time to time. No.
Well, I mean, you and I have both been in the industry a while. And so when we walk into a room, we know there are certain people that we're going to not necessarily gravitate towards.
Yeah.
And
I'm thinking of those people right now. I got a list. I got a list. No, I feel like, all right. This is a great list. This is a lot of fun. We got a couple comments here. I want to make sure that we're honoring these comments and engaging. I'm going to be nice and make friends. I'm going to spend the last 10 minutes of the show being nice and making friends. So let's start with Mr. Jack Jampel, the distinguished gentleman from Philadelphia. We've been asking for integrated systems, but this is difficult because suppliers don't act as true partners. They feel threatened. They don't want to integrate. This is a great. Go ahead.
Jack, I would just say from a regulatory standpoint, from a compliance standpoint, from a GDPR and privacy standpoint, being separate companies and sharing information can be really challenging, particularly, so that it's hard.
But don't we have to as service providers, as entrepreneurs, as people who want to compete in 2020, don't we have to find a way to somehow manage through compliance to achieve customer experience? Like, isn't it incumbent on us? I feel like I'm speaking for Jack here. I'm sure this is all the mentorship that Jack's giving me. But like, it's our problem to figure that out, right? It's our problem to be able to craft an employee experience which is fantastic while still checking those GDPR boxes and things like that. I mean,
right.
I feel like that's why I sign these 20-page GDPR self-certification things every time I'm on board at a new RMC, because they're like, hey, we're going to send you some stuff. Need you to keep it quiet. I'm going to need you to keep it between us. I need you to not get your systems hacked if I send you over this, passport or this social security number or whatever, right? So, I just feel like it's on us to figure that out, though. I mean, what are your thoughts, Elizabeth?
So, Jack, I want to give you just a glimmer of hope with this. We do have, with our temporary housing insurance, specifically, the transferee never even knows that they necessarily have this coverage. They don't have to do anything. We do have the possibility of having APIs with the relocation management companies. With their technology and with their system so that they can send that data straight through to us. It doesn't have to be on an Excel report. It can hopefully be more encrypted. So that is happening with certain companies. Again, I think IT is also pushed in a lot of different directions, and that's probably one of the first budget things to cut. And so they have to do more with less. And so a relocation company probably has 100, 500, 1,000 different providers. And so to have APIs with each of them would be a lot.
It's almost like just a company that just is a connection company, who could just go and be the company that handles the integrations. Speaking of which, Sandra's company kind of does this, not for every provider, but she does kind of specialize in integrating. Sandra at EDC, you took the words right out of my mouth, Ben. Better system unification, integration done right can simplify, streamline, and deliver a better user experience. Yeah, if done right, if prioritized. And to your point, Elizabeth, a lot of times the budget for integration of systems, which is a back office, a behind the scenes thing, is eschewed in preference of customer facing technology, the sizzle stuff, right? It's not this, we're talking about steak technology, and this is sizzle technology. Everybody wants this customer facing portals and graphic user interfaces and all sorts of fancy, sexy kind of in your face tech that nobody uses, whereas everybody's using the back end stuff to send data back and forth all day long. And it's creating customer experiences like the one Jack described, where people are having to provide the same information twice, 3 times, 4 times. And it's super frustrating. But that story is never being told at an RFP. Instead, they're like, hey, look at this cool portal you can log into. So, I hope one day, and if we keep saying it long enough, I hope one day, people listen and they actually do it and they understand there's a huge competitive advantage that can be gained. Jack says integration brings more value than predictive analytics.
Well, and I will say that, we did spend a lot of money on this technology for our temporary housing insurance for short-term secure, and very few of our partners have taken us up on having the API.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no, I mean, that doesn't surprise me at all. And a lot of them will say, oh yeah, we have API documentation. Here's the documentation. But like, they got to sit down and actually like do it. And nobody wants to, it's never high on somebody's, because what they don't see a revenue. They don't see like okay, if we do this, we can win this customer. They don't see that, hey, if we do this, it will, quicken our response times by 40%. It'll eliminate 3 emails per transferee, which has a time value of one employee hour at this dollar times X amount of files. Like, people aren't doing that kind of smart thinking in organizations, which is so frustrating. Oh my goodness gracious. It's getting me fired up over here. Jason Rollins saying, hey, Elizabeth. Oh, hey, Ben. Yeah. I'm always an afterthought for Jason.
Hey, Jason.
Running joke.
How's Boston?
Yeah, how is Boston, Jason? Just give us like 50 words on Boston, Jason. Throw it in there. No, but we've only got a few minutes left. I want to make sure that we make time for. I want to give you some time, frankly, Elizabeth, because I feel like I'm talking so much. But I want you to just tell us. I want you to tell us something that's on your mind, something that's been catching your eye lately, and you've been thinking about, or you think that nobody's talking about that we really should be. And this is our last comment before we do that. Elena says, many suppliers are so risk averse that they don't focus on the customer experience. It takes a shift in operational priorities. Okay, I said this is the last comment. Here's the last one. Andy, interesting observation, Jag, with the responsibility to create an environment to integrate as best possible should come from the corporate client at onset and requirement for service delivery. Don't you know these corporate clients don't want to do anything, Andy? That's why we have jobs, man. Like, I mean, yes, they should want to do it, but they have no profit motive. They have no incentive. Anyway, Elizabeth, what's one thing that we should really be thinking about, maybe as an industry, that we're really not thinking or talking about, in your opinion?
Oh, wow. Well, I had sent you an article about, and this is just a warning to everybody, insurance revenues, income dropped by 86% in the last 9 months. So the money that they're typically making and that they're typically able to invest isn't there. So, and the reasons for that are because so many policies were canceled due to COVID, or they had to do reimbursements because of business interruption. I mean, we're not just talking, home and auto. We're talking, complex business insurance. We're talking about, and then also with all the catastrophic losses, that it was double the catastrophic losses in payments this year than it was last year. And so so when insurance companies start losing money, premiums are going to go up. So it's going to impact all of us. That's
really interesting. And, because I mean, honestly, the first thing I think of when I think insurance revenue's down, I'm like, sweet. That's like less money. That's like cost. Insurance is cost, right? For me, I'm like, okay, so like I'm paying
income.
Less.
Yeah,
so it's income. So it's like profit, if you will.
Right.
So you're trying to get me to care about insurance companies' profit. That's a whole nother show, Elizabeth, to be honest.
No, but it absolutely impacts you, because it would be saying, with transit insurance, since you're in the household goods, if you paid your insurance company $100 and you had $150 every, year after year, they're losing money. So then they're going to have to increase their rates so that they can be able to pay claims.
So what does this mean to our premiums then? Give us some, it has to be ballpark. I'm not going to hold you to it, but I mean, what do you think this means to us from a premium standpoint?
So I've seen significant and heard about significant increases across the board with regards to most of what I do is specialty line, excess and surplus lines type Lloyd's of London insurance. So it isn't the typical carrier that you would think of, the Progressives and the Travelers, and we do help internationals with that type of insurance. But so I think you're going to probably see your homeowners and renters insurance go up, and auto policies go up. Particularly,
what do you think? 10%, 20%, more than that?
Just on the business side alone, we're seeing Lloyd's of London go to some of our competitors and say, we are requiring you increase your premium, your rates by a minimum of 5% up to 25%. So I would, and we haven't seen that yet. It's been a tough year, and there have been a lot of losses in addition to revenue being down. But so I think on a personal level, what you end up paying, what I end up paying, is going to probably go up 5 to 15%, depending on where we are. There's a lot more tornadoes. There's a lot more natural disaster. There's just more claims coming in. And I think there's also more people cutting corners and, going, all right, well, if it's food on the table or paying my insurance premium, I'm going to let my insurance premium lapse.
Wow. Interesting. I think that's something that we can all, take away from this conversation is our insurance is going up. that's a 2021 prediction there.
Oh man, I don't want people to think that. Elizabeth predicts this.
Well, I mean, I think that's a takeaway we can all, whether or not we ship household goods and insure them. I mean, that's something that we can all think about as our homeowners or our, car or whatever, right? I mean, so I think that's valuable stuff. Janet says, "Yikes, we already pay high rates in Florida."
Yes,
I say, "Yikes, yikes for Detroit auto insurance." It's terrible up here.
But so that's something just to know that, whether you're looking at it from a personal perspective or a business perspective, you're probably going to see more of that. And that's also might be the story that people aren't talking about with regards to the economy and how it's affecting our lives in a lot different ways than what we think. It's starting to impact our wallets.
This has been great. We got a couple comments here that I just wanted to kind of honor. I want to say thank you, first of all, to everybody who was active in the comments, who left, questions. If I didn't get to you, I'm so sorry. Come back in tomorrow, try again. I promise it'll be different, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so thank you for getting involved. The show is so much better with you watching and contributing. Couldn't do it without you. Wouldn't do it, frankly, if it weren't for you. So thank you so much for that. Shout out to the staff, the LOVE+RELO team, Janet Turney, Stacy Huff, and Tim Quirk. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Elizabeth, I wanted to, before I ask you for a final thought, I also wanted to thank Paul Soley, because if it weren't for him, and keeping Chance quiet and the bedbuggers at bay for the full hour, I mean, who knows how this would have turned out. So thanks, Paul. Appreciate you, dude. But do you want to give us a final thought, Elizabeth?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show. Podcasts like this, and there are a couple that have popped up in our industry, I think are one of the bright things that have come out of the pandemic. And I think that's been a huge positive from that. So thank you. I really, it helps us feel connected.
Well, thank you very much for saying that. I appreciate it. And I agree, and I enjoy the community as well. And I get just as much out of it, to be honest, as all of you do. So thank you very much, Elizabeth. I appreciate you being here today. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you so much.
Take care, everybody. We will see you tomorrow. Yuki Watanabe from Gap is going to be on. We're going to be talking about global mobility and sustainability, so you won't want to miss it. I'll probably... got some interesting ideas. Want to hear your thoughts as well. So check out Yuki tomorrow. Elizabeth Soley, Managing Director, Jacob Street Partners. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for being here.
Thank you, Ben.
Take care, everybody. See y'all tomorrow, 4 o'clock.